Downtown Hamiltonians have had enough of this rampant dereliction. We've lost too many great old buildings to willful neglect, and oftentimes we replace them with parking lots. Those of us under a certain age can't be accused of being sentimental when it comes to caring about heritage buildings. So many of the buildings that we've rallied to save have been vacant for most of our lives. We don't have memories, we don't have old sentimental memories of being inside these buildings. We care about our city, and we want a city that works. And we can still recognize the potential of a building like the Royal Connaught, even though it's vacant. We can see it, Hamilton can see it, and now the owners of this building have to see it. And we don't just see that potential just because of their age. It's because of the signal that it'll send to the next generation of Hamiltonians to grow up and care about their city. And then in the midst of a very challenging redevelopment of this downtown, we decided to continue telling our story and adapt these structures to modern uses. We're becoming a new city, but let's not bury our hearts in a landfill for short-term gains. Let's not make irreversible mistakes in desperation to redevelop. Modern architecture can be wonderful, but I'd love it if somebody could show me a recent example of where we tore down a quality heritage building and replaced it with a truly impressive piece of architecture. In too many cases, they don't tear down buildings because they have a better idea or a grander vision than the one that built the original building. Many times the buildings that they replace heritage buildings with are homogeneous pieces of shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not at all opposed to new development at all. Good friends of mine are small developers. There are people here that are small developers that care about their city. But I'll be the most impressed by developers who take the initiative to fill in the multiple gaps in this downtown, to build on vacant lots, to dig up the parking lots, and to maintain or restore the buildings we've already built. I'm a firm believer that we shouldn't tear down any more buildings in this downtown unless there's a justifiable reason to do so. Last month, about 75 of us came together to start the bylaw crawl. We walked the streets with copies of the property standards bylaw in hand. They're passing around here. If anybody needs a copy, I've got extras as well. And we documented serious infractions on 34 vacant properties throughout the derelict and vacant properties throughout the downtown. The complaints were forwarded to bylaw staff, and we've seen action on some of these properties, and I can give you sort of a bit of an update. I spoke to property standards this week. 25 orders to comply have been issued of those 34. All 34 complaints are in queue. All of them are being followed up on in some capacity or another. Fines are being given out to some people who are repeat offenders. Some people are going to be going to court. So we've definitely had an impact, the first bylaw crawl, and so I'm very glad to see you all here today to continue that kind of success. So today we're going to clean up the streets, picking up any litter that we see along the way while we go out on the crawl, and reporting any serious piles of trash we encounter. So, I mean, pick up litter, but if you see a pile that is just insurmountable and you know it shouldn't be there according to the bylaw, report it and let the city take care of that. I just want to thank everyone for attending today. I also want to thank Paul Souza for all the web work he's done, my brother Dan Jelly for the work he's done, and Ryan Danks, our volunteer, who's set up the map. And I want to thank all of you and everyone who's attended this event for making it what it is. You know, people often ask the question in this city, who cares? And we have a loud, resounding answer to that question. We do.
Yeah.
We care about this city. And if you've lived through Hamilton's worst times and you're still here, it's because you care. And if you're new to the city and you've joined us today, it's because you care. Let's rebuild our streets. Let's rebuild a downtown we can all show pride for.